Alright, that looks like a good angle. Okay, haven't done a video in a while again. I don't know how long it's been, maybe a couple weeks. I haven't really had anything to talk about, but now I got something to talk about. Because I've been watching Final Fantasy VII stuff, and I got into watching the Final Fantasy VII remake, and heard some people's views on the remake, and I wanted to weigh in because I haven't really heard people talk about what I think they need to talk about, maybe? I don't know. This is my thoughts. I don't know. Maybe other fans would feel like. The people who played the game in the first part. Anyways, they seem to be remaking a game, and they're calling it a remake when they're not really remaking the game. I feel like it looks like they're making another game. They're making a new game, and they're just calling it Final Fantasy VII so that they can sell another game to people who played Final Fantasy VII. And get a quick sell to those people. And it's like, yeah, it's got the same characters and it's got generally the same storyline, but it's going to have pretty much radically different gameplay, which means, why the fuck do I want to play it? And it's going to have, like I said, a similar storyline, but they're probably gonna stick to the same core story, but they're gonna add more, and so I'm kind of worried that it's gonna change the stories too, and I don't. That doesn't really bother me that much because I'm okay with hearing a new story almost, because that's almost like watching another movie, which is okay, as long as it's a good movie. If it's a good movie, I'm okay with it. If it's a shitty movie, then fuck you. It's almost like shitting on something that they better make it a good homage to Final Fantasy VII if they're going to use the same characters and the same general plot line. They better make it a good storyline. And some people were saying also they're going to use the same soundtrack, but it's not going to be the MIDI soundtrack. They're going to make it like orchestral and use instruments and stuff like that, which kind of okay, I'm going to say something here which is going to piss people off probably, but the general theme worries me, that the general theme is going to be like what a theater fag would do. Is going to be they're going to try to make it really arty, arty, and put a lot of artness in it. And I hope that the LBGTQ ABCD EFG HIJKLMLP community will understand what I mean by that and not be too offended when I say the word fag. That it's like, we're gonna make it all arty, and especially with the music, it's like we're gonna put like 800 different instruments into it. It's like it doesn't need to be that complex. It's like they used a simple format for the music, and it was great. It's like back in the Nintendo days when it was 8-bit music, and it was brilliant. Like with 8-bit music. Like think about Mega Man on the NES. Some of the best tunes were made with the NES soundtrack. And it was simple. I mean, just anybody who's played on the original NES knows what I'm talking about. Um, so you don't need to overcomplicate the soundtrack. Stick to the fundamentals with it, and you'll be fine. And that's kind of the point I think that I'm trying to make is, you know, I think they're gonna take this into the action RPG thing, and that's really gonna scare me. I think I'm probably gonna end up buying it, no matter how shitty it's gonna end up being, because it's Final Fantasy VII. Well, it's a bait and switch, Final Fantasy VII, but if they're turning it into 3 games and the first game is really suck, I'm probably gonna really consider not buying the next 2. But yeah, if it's really action RPG, I want to be like on the next 2, because I don't want an action RPG. I don't. You know, it's kind of like I reckon it, or I make it akin to when I started playing shooters, and when computers and video games came into their own in the 3D world, when they started to get into the 3D world finally. It was cool to play a shooter. It was fun. It was new. And I played them for a while. I played them for a few years. And then after I played them for a few years, they were tired and predictable. They're boring. And they have been boring ever since. And I look at them now, and even like Fallout 4, I just see it as a shooter. Like, they've made it a shooter. Like, it just, like, the original Fallout from top down was an RPG, but now it just looks like it's a fucking shooter. Like, it doesn't feel like an RPG to me. It just looks like a shooter to me. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing the point, but it really doesn't feel like an RPG to me. It just looks like a shooter. And that's bad. When something takes on the format, and that's my fear about Final Fantasy VII. It's just gonna morph into something that's totally different, and it just has a totally different feel than an RPG. Because my idea of an RPG is Dungeons and Dragons. Because I played Dungeons and Dragons, and I know what Dungeons and Dragons are. Dungeons and Dragons is Baldur's Gate. It's thoughtful, turn-based, and controlled. And I liked Final Fantasy VII because it had a nice balance between the two. Between turn-based contemplation and that sense of urgency that you needed to get your move in before you were killed. It was that nice sense of balance, and I think the Final Fantasy series is starting to push it more and more towards that sense of urgency thing, where it's just more and more like a shooter. Like, you just gotta get it out, just fast. And I don't like that. I don't think like that. The interface is not there yet for me to be able to act like that. Um, to act good enough, like you got a controller and then go through a menu and all that bullshit. No, you know, I act with my body, not with a controller and shit like that. So when the interface is with your body and with your mind and stuff like that, then maybe I'll be able to react fast like that, and it'll feel intuitive. But until something like that happens, no, that it's too fast for someone like me. And even then, it's feeling like something. It's just awkward. Um, it just feels like a shooter. I don't. It's not a remake. It's a. It seems like a totally different game. And I think that the makers, I think Squaresoft, the designers, whoever you want to put in front of the development of the game, are missing the point entirely when they try to call it a remake. Um, because a remake, in my mind, means the story is going to be the same, the characters are going to be the same, and the gameplay is going to be the same. And that's crucial right there. If you're going to fundamentally change the gameplay, that's one of the three arcs, one of the three dimensions of the game that you're fundamentally changing. And, because he wants the new kids to like it. Well, fuck the new kids. The new kids didn't play it, Let them learn what it was like to be us. Let them experience something as a throwback, Maybe they'll actually like it. Did you ever think of that for, 4 seconds? They might actually like it if they actually just tried it for a second. They might learn patience too. It might actually teach them something. But, didn't have the vision to contemplate thinking, maybe going backward for a game is actually going forward in the same step. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They could have also made the game so that you could play it both ways. So that you could set the game to be played turn-based, so that there would be a turn function, so that everything would be, once battle was initiated, it would move around. The character would be moving, and it would kind of work like Fallout, but a little more like the old game. So you would move automatically. You wouldn't be moving the character throughout the 3D world. He would move and adjust automatically, but you'd be cycling. You'd be preparing the attacks and stuff ahead of time, or something like that. I think that might be better. I think that would be better all around, to maintain the sense of urgency. Instead of an action RPG, Um, it'd be like you'd select attacks, magic attacks, or whatever you wanted to do for the round coming up. And if you didn't select an attack, you would just defend. So you pick which guy you wanted to attack, whatever. That would be on the screen. And so if you do nothing, if you just sit there and do nothing, clouds say, well, just attack. You just put the controller down and go make a sandwich. Clouds sit there and defend, and he'll probably die. But otherwise, if you do the action in time, he'll attack. And you can control. That way you can still control all three party members. Say, it's action, but at the same time, it's turn-based. So you maintain both segments, both kinds of games. Say, I just solved the problem for you. It just requires a little bit of vision and outside of the box thinking. But you just you just set the turn, set your action ahead of time so that you give the computer time to process the action. So if turn 1 is going to be taken at X time, you say, you plot the action at turn 0. And turn 2 gets plotted at turn 1, or whatever. You do it at a turn ahead of time. And then sequentially proceeds like that. And it could, you could keep going. You could plan out your attack and could go boom, 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 do it like 5 turns ahead of time and just watch it out like a movie. Because you can plan out your attacks faster than the game can animate it. So you could plan out everybody's attack really quickly and then just watch the whole thing go out while you sit and take some drinks out of your soda. That might be a little lazy, but then you don't have to. It's a little bit of a nicer bridge between everything. And keep the ATB system, and then you don't have to button mash either. I don't know why people like button mashing. I mean, it keeps them more interested in the game. Ooh, I get to press the button 500 times. No, why? Who gives a shit? But yeah, so I don't know. Those are some fears, concerns, whatever I have about the game. Yeah, they make me worried, and the clips that I saw, they really make me worried because of, and I haven't played Final Fantasy 15, but make me worried because of what I've seen about Final Fantasy 15 and heard, and the Let's Play about how you can only control one character. That really disturbs me. I don't like only controlling one character. in Final Fantasy 13 or 14. I don't know, maybe you could control all the characters. I don't know. The last one that I played, where I don't know, you had this boss. It was just really annoying. You had this boss at the end that was like this. I don't know how to describe him, but he was like this face thing. It's fucking annoying. And it was just. I mean, Final Fantasies are almost getting weirder too. Like they're just reaching more and more into the fuck up in this hole. Um, so, yeah. But that one was kind of cool in the whole like way you combine your attacks. Like that aspect I liked. Like so, you know, I like how Final Fantasy does stuff like some games, sometimes they try shit and sometimes they make a game that flops. And even in that game that flops, there are game mechanics that I really like. Like in that game, how their attacks combined and they did more damage and stuff. And they had like that over blitz or something like that. You had that meter, and then when it filled up, your attacks did double damage or something like that. Yeah, that was good. That was interesting. Something they hadn't done before. So, it's just I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It's just gonna be nice to see. Well, not nice. Interesting to see what they do with Final Fantasy VII remake. All right, that's it. It's fucking 20 minutes. I'm crossing my fingers with this. I don't know what the fuck's gonna be like, but hopefully it'll be on the PS5 and I simultaneous release on the PS5 and computer and Steam and whatever because I want it to be like mega ultra graphics and stuff. I want it to be so high graphics that I have to get a new computer just to run this motherfucker. Because by 2020, I'm gonna have to get a new machine, anyways. Because this thing is already like 3 or 4 years old. And it's still working good too. But whatever. Okay, future me. I really hope you lose weight by the time you see these things. Because, dude, you're fat now. And if you get fatter, that's the wrong way to go. All right, dude. I'm just letting you know. All right. Bye.